Hello, everyone. Welcome to the News Browse News broadcast. Public Safety Canada has significantly increased its monitoring of threats made by Tehran against members of the Iranian diaspora residing in Canada, according to a senior executive. Sébastien Auberton-Giguère, who leads Canada's efforts against foreign interference, stated that Iran and other nations have amplified their coercive tactics aimed at critics living overseas. He specifically highlighted that Iran tends to escalate its actions against dissidents in Canada when it perceives challenges from the diaspora community. Canadian officials are diligently observing Iran's activities, both at Canada's borders and internationally. These comments from Auberton-Giguère, reported by the Canadian press, come amid criticism from conservative politicians and diaspora organizations regarding the presence of Iranian government officials in Canada and the low number of deportations of suspected Iranian agents. He emphasized that Canada is witnessing a rise in transnational repression by various countries. City News Everywhere reports that Prime Minister Mark Carney has declared Canada will not offer further concessions to the United States in anticipation of negotiations for the Continental Trade Pact. CUSMA, Carney firmly stated that Washington would not be permitted to dictate the terms of these crucial talks. His comments came in response to a Radio Canada report indicating that U.S. officials were imposing an entry fee, demanding concessions from Canada before even beginning negotiations for the mandatory CUSMA review this year. While Mexico and the U.S. have commenced formal discussions, Canada and the U.S. have yet to reach that stage. Carney clarified that Canada intends to seek concessions from the U.S., not make them. United States Trade Representative Jameson Greer highlighted differing trade priorities, noting Canada's focus on international partners versus the U.S.'s aim to address globalization issues, suggesting potential reevaluation of country of origin rules. Despite existing trade irritants and previous Canadian concessions, like dropping the digital services tax, the Canadian government, including Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand and Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne, is committed to protecting Canada's interests, including its supply management system, and resolving issues like U.S. sectoral tariffs. Opposition leaders expressed concerns about Canada's position relative to Mexico and the U.S. A 26-year-old Quebec City resident, Jeffrey Roussel, is facing multiple terrorism charges, including participating in and facilitating the activity of a terrorist group, as well as committing offenses for a terrorist group. He is accused of actively promoting the violent extremist ideology of the 764 network by publishing graphic and disturbing content through a Telegram group. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, states that the 764 network actively targets children and teenagers on various online platforms like Discord, Telegram, Roblox, and Minecraft, with the goal of manipulating, recruiting, and radicalizing them to commit violent acts. Roussel also allegedly participated in Mentalil 1984, an online group he administered that promoted 764 ideologies, though it is not a listed terrorist entity. The Integrated National Security Enforcement Team, INSET, conducted the investigation. Roussel appeared in a Quebec City courthouse on Wednesday. This report is from Radio Canada International. Ottawa. Federal Emergency Management Minister Eleanor Olszewski announced on Tuesday that the government cannot commit to implementing a national flood insurance program in the near future. Speaking on Parliament Hill amidst countrywide flood warnings, Olszewski stated that establishing such a program is an incredibly complicated discussion and a complicated thing to put in place for Canadians, especially regarding its most viable structure. The program was initially promised by former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau during the 2019 federal election as an affordability measure for flood-prone households. Despite a 2024 commitment to implement it by the end of 2025, progress has been slow, with work only starting in 2023. A 2022 report estimated annual residential flooding losses at $2.97 billion, with a significant concentration in high-risk homes. Both the Insurance Bureau of Canada and the Climate Institute of Canada acknowledge the complexities, emphasizing the need for careful design to avoid disrupting the private market and to include an off-ramp for any federal subsidy, viewing it as a stopgap measure. This report is from the Canadian Press. Global News reports that the Ontario government has heavily redacted notes written by its top civil servant, Secretary of Cabinet Michelle d'Emmanuel, concerning the controversial return-to-office mandate for civil servants. Despite the province's earlier assurances that new Freedom of Information (OI) laws would maintain 95% accessibility, a request for d'Emmanuel's handwritten notes revealed that almost every word was blacked out. Out of 15 pages from her notebook, only approximately 25 words, phrases, or dates, such as Pat, referring to Premier Doug Ford's former chief of staff, and RTO, return to office, were released. Ontario Liberal interim leader John Fraser condemned the redactions as not acceptable, emphasizing that FOI laws exist to provide public access to government decision-making. A spokesperson for the Cabinet Office defended the redactions, stating they were due to sensitive government business and employment-related or labor relations matters. Finance Minister Peter Bethlen-Falvey also defended the OI overhaul, aligning it with other jurisdictions and the Westminster model. The proposed changes, which would exempt the Premier Cabinet and their staff from disclosing records, are being fast-tracked through the legislature without public hearings. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.